Взрывая мгновение через сотни лет, мы растаем.
Observer.
Where? I hadn't noticed.
Welcome.
Hey, fish as a goat.
You know what that means? Fish!
best bird's power with the soundboard is unstoppable. Hey, Zuba. Hey, Reckless.
Hey fish. Hey Tsuba. Hey reckless.
I see Daltho has chosen to use one of my alternative titles.
Hey Dalto. That's software for you.
Well, I mean, you know, I am a being of many names. So, yeah.
I've heard Bear is kinda mid.
Yeah, bear meat is, it's kind of in this weird like middle ground. True. It is a nice kind of like, it's a nice change of pace, but like it has to be not only acquired in the right way, but also
Whoever threw
prepared.
that your mom's a baka.
But yeah, like it's got to be, it's got to be, you know, acquired in the right way and prepared in the right way. Because bear can be, like, it can either be fairly good or very, very mid at best. Like it is, it's a weird like coin flip with bear meat. It's also, I won't exactly say why, but when skinning a bear, because you know you have to do that if you're gonna prepare it. It looks a little weird. I'm not gonna lie.
One day I'll throw things back.
Now, Vess, I know you. I know one day you want to throw things back, but we agreed that there's no. Like, if you throw something back, you can airdrop it, which means you have air superiority. Like that just kind of automatically.
I
means you
can't
win.
fly.
Anything can fly if I throw it hard enough.
Well, that may be true, but hey Nins.
Hey, Nins.
bruh. Observer don't pronounce stuff like that's its smaller brain than me.
I suppose I could do that. Just maybe. Yeah, part of the time. No, see, Fish, it's not a debuff. What it is a limiter. She's holding herself back. Exactly.
Listen, I took the no-flight trait for more intel to spec. Too bad status effects don't roll intel.
I was about to say, I feel like perhaps that it lied to you and it wasn't actually
You
int,
ever meet
and it was
someone
just,
so smart they act dumb sometimes?
it was just charisma instead. I mean, if it's true that you
Okay,
and Fish
reckless.
both share a brain cell, are you sure you can tell? Ah, yes. This funny video. It is time.
Can everyone see this? Is it decent scale?
See, that's pretty good for what it is.
Fish, I'm going to dump lemonade packs into your water.
Delicious. See, if you put lemonade packs in fish's water, then when we finally get hungry, then they already have the lemon seasoning. We just need the garlic herb.
Lemon seasoning.
I know what I said.
So this video is called Back 4 Blood Proves Valve Carries Left 4 Dead by Crowcat. Me an observer, given how talented we are at debating not really for myself asterisk, are going to give commentary on this.
Oh yeah, it'll be interesting, to say the least.
This out. We had a prototype up and running. Keep in mind, at this point, you know, the environment is all just big gray boxes. It's not pretty at all. The infected are still the sort of cheesy terrorist zombies.
I mean, it was already fun. So then it was just like, well, now we just got to make it look good.
Of Turtle Rock Studios. This is pretty exciting for all us Left 4 Dead fans. Of course, you guys are known for all the amazing work. Left 4 Dead, and now you're building this.
Just flinging himself out of the chair.
Lol.
The flying spooks do truly be a problem.
I will say that I think the way they developed Left 4 Dead so intensely that it really shaped how replayable the game is. Hey Paragon.
Yeah, the way they handled the development of Left 4 Dead by just how intensely they kind of just went into every aspect of the game is something that definitely
Because
helped it.
every run of Left 4 Dead the specials aren't always the same, or sometimes they aren't even there.
Yeah. It is they did manage to make a truly unique experience with each time you go through it. And it's even at base, without mods and stuff, because at this point there's thousands of them. Even base game
Like
Left 4
every
Dead is
run
still
is
really
different
fun.
enough it's enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly. It's always a fun time.
And then add in the Dickently Alive modding community.
Oh yeah, yeah. The modding community
Decently
is
asterisk.
like it's not as strong as it used to be back in the day for Left 4 Dead 2, but it and Left 4 Dead, like both honestly, but like they are still going. Like there is still like a like moderate amount of content for like Left 4 Dead games still coming out even now.
It's still going pretty strong. I mean the hololive Richters have models in the game lol.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's definitely like a like dedicated like core modding like community to like Left 4 Dead that they just
There is a
keep
full
going.
Halo and Mass Effect conversion mod for the game.
Okay, now that I wasn't aware of. Granted, I don't keep up a massive amount on mods for games, but that's cool. I like that.
Change all the weapons and characters in Infected.
Yeah, it's fun.
And for me Back 4 Blood felt weird.
Yeah, I didn't have any personal like hands-on experience with Back for Blood, but from what I saw like gameplay wise, like on release, like it looked a little just like off. Like it just didn't quite have the same feel as like Left 4 Dead
It
and
wanted
stuff.
to be harder than Left 4 Dead but was hard in the wrong ways.
Oh, definitely. Like I remember like some of the gameplay stuff I did see of it. Like enemies would like you could just like empty like 3 magazines into some enemies and they would just keep coming. Like that's bullet sponges are not fun.
You had to buy your weapons and equipment, and the special Infected were modified versions of the Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. Yeah, like they were
Like the
they
Spitter was worse than in Left 4 Dead. It
oh yeah.
stuck you in place.
Yeah, like
And
basically
you
all
had
of
to
them were.
untie yourself.
Like they were pretty much all like just like I would almost say derivative versions of the Left 4 Dead stuff, like in a way, because like
4 seconds of you not being able to help your teammate.
yeah, like it is just like they decided to make it harder and like try and
They
like
may have changed
off
it
branch.
asterisk.
Yeah, like they off branched it like a little bit from Left 4 Dead by like making the special infected do slightly different stuff, but the stuff that they chose to make them do differently
But not
was
enough.
usually just not good. From just like even just from like a mechanical standpoint, a horde game where you are stuck in place by an enemy for multiple seconds, potentially if the entire team gets hit by it, the entire team is stuck. Like that feels like counterintuitive, like game design
4
to me.
seconds can be a game ender.
Yeah.
On building on the legacy with this new zombie co-op shooter, what's new? What can you tell us about it, Chris?
Well, we wanted to do
Oh,
more
looks like
and
I
bigger,
will have to
right?
leave you to
Okay.
the folks for a moment. My doggo is having a fit. I must go check and see if there is in fact a bear outside. I will be right back.
Stay safe, observer. We will wait for him to return. Headpats. Thank you, Fizz. Red. Hunk.
You know what that means? Fish!
It me.
All right. Situation is clear. I return.
Welcome back, Bear Man.
Here we go. Here's the gameplay reveal of Back for Blood.
Not me. You all lost people. Lost someone close.
Like,
Like, even that walk animation at the start, like,
in Back for Blood, the eye was such worse.
yeah, like that, just that walking animation, like, of it, like, trying to, like, grab the person right when he said, right when he said, "Here's the gameplay
The
reveal," like,
infected in
it's just
Left 4
over.
Dead were after you, and it felt like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, God, just that animation alone is enough to just make me go,
Welcome, Natsu.
yeah, was rough.
Have a great Flair, Coco.
So I'm to blame?
Oh, fuck no!
Bruh. Insta-death.
That is
Insta-death asterisk.
just like that gameplay footage, like, I don't I think the way the video is edited, like, I have to hope and pray that this isn't the actual gameplay
There was
footage
what, like
that they,
3
like,
spots where you could insta-die in Left 4 Dead. And one of them was Mercy Hospital. If you were mega unlucky.
Yeah, wasn't one of the other ones like the bridge? I can't remember which level it's on, but the bridge in Left 4 Dead 2, like, I think that was another one where, like, depending on like basically how unlucky you were, like, you could technically be insta-killed.
Mercy, the bridge and the hotel, I think.
Yeah, the hotel might have been the other one.
There could be more.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think that's all.
It's the only ones that really stand out to me.
Insta-kills in games are pure design in my mind because the player can't react.
Oh yeah, no, I've never liked insta-kill mechanics and things like that because, like, they're never done well. Like, if there was an insta-kill thing and, like, you had some way to prevent it or, like, react to it or whatever, and then if it got you, it instantly killed you, then it's your fault, it's like, okay, then it's a skill-based thing, but that's basically never the case. Like, it is almost always some kind of, like, horrible
Now
shenanigan.
in mode that's harder to balance, but being able to go over the edge like this and die, it's a hard game like this.
Yeah.
It is kinda in a hard game asterisk.
Yeah, it's definitely not a great feeling, like, having something like that happen.
Bruh.
That, like, you could clip that section
The AI
of
literally stood there.
like, you could clip that of the AI just, like, standing there looking around confused and just put the buffoon is flummoxed, like, soundbite over it.
Even the co-op aren't helping.
Oh yeah, no, like, even they're just, like,
It's like the
standing
AI just broke.
like, it
The AI went out for coffee.
yeah. Like, it genuinely doesn't surprise me that, like, because Back for Blood was super hyped up before it came out, and then after it released, like, I heard stuff about it for, like, a week, I think maybe 2 weeks, and then it was just gone. Like, I didn't hear anything good, bad, like, nothing about it since then. Like, it has dropped off the face of the planet, essentially.
It was because the game devs were devs to Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
Not all, but a few were.
Yeah, I think it was, like, 4 or 5 of them or something like that.
But this game just doesn't have the love that Left 4 Dead had with the minor details.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead went super in depth with their details and stuff, and Back 4 Blood, like, even just
And let
this
me
short
get
amount
this
of
clear, I'm
footage.
not fangirl to Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. Like, it's just very clear even from this amount of, like, short amount of footage that, like, there's a clear difference in quality of work.
But how it did a lot of its stuff was very interesting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, they had a very interesting, like, process behind stuff. Where was that animation
The AI is
firing from?
interesting.
Oh, yeah. That's, I guess the stomach shotgun.
It's trying to fire from his weapon. But his weapon is bugged. It fixed itself to reload, then rebugged.
That AI not only has a bugged gun, but is power sliding better than a figure skater.
From the look of it, is a player. But yes.
Oh, is it actually a player? Jesus.
It's the old bugged no move slide, which is like the oldest bug in games, I swear.
Yeah, it is very common.
Is it even a boss?
I honestly don't know.
It can't even solve a door.
I mean, if you look at the track record of people in video games, doors are the most complex problems. And gravity is still the deadliest enemy. So, at least in this instance, can't really say I'm defending it. I'm more
Aggressive health bar noises asterisk.
Oh yeah, big health bar. But like, at least in this specific instance, I can say that that boss, as bad as its AI is on par with a decent chunk of gamers part of the time.
See, this is the thing I was talking about with the spitter.
Yeah.
You're stuck in place fully.
Yeah, it's not even
no
like
shooting, no melee. You're stuck.
Yeah, like you can't even like do anything. Like you just have to sit there. Like,
There is no anything.
It's just like it's not even like that. That just completely removes player agency for like 4 seconds. Like that's just not fun.
It's worse than being hunted or jockeyed because the thing spits on you and runs away. Oh, you can't get yourself out of this. It takes 4 seconds for a teammate to get you out.
Yeah, that is just. It's. Ugh.
And everyone is stunned. One person is downed. One person is webbed. 2 people are grabbed. Also, gore warning.
Since killing zombies is such a big part of this game, we invested a lot of time into making their death animations more dramatic than simple ragdolls. We had a professional stuntman on a motion capture stage perform about 100 different dying animations from different kinds of weapons and hit from different directions, like from the front or behind. We then combined these mocap animations with the physics-driven ragdolls. The result is a really cinematic experience, with zombies that stumble for a few steps into a wall, then slide down the wall and collapse, for example. It's the best of both worlds.
like, I have to say, like, that had to have
Because
been
they are
legitimately, like,
infected
fun
and
day.
not dead.
Yeah, like, I would have loved to have been that stunt guy. Just be like, "Hey, what did you do for work today?" "Oh, yeah, I died, like, 100 times." It's like, that had to have been a fun day.
You don't ragdoll like you do in Skyrim.
Skyrim ragdolls are classically hilarious, but not really realistic. But yeah, the fact that they went through the trouble of, rather than using just the physics engine, they went through the trouble of having it mocapped as well. It's impressive.
I mean, this isn't realistic either.
Not really, but it's an impressive level of dedication.
Because they take a lot of damage before dying.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like,
Because 3 shots from a M16 isn't going to be pleasant.
I mean, on one hand, I would say yes. On the other hand, like, we as a collective species have seen what people on, like, crack are capable of, and those people, like, yeah, like, so if it's anything like that, if, like, that's how raged out they are, it doesn't surprise me, like, to an extent that it takes more than that to put them down.
The infected in Left 4 Dead are on pure adrenaline.
Yeah, I don't know if that'd be enough, but it would definitely do a lot.
Left 4 Dead has a lot of interesting lore.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead lore is literally the infection can spread at any time by whatever means it feels that day. Only through bite. Only through water.
The Left 4 Dead infection is the Bear Grylls of infections. It
Oh,
improvises,
we are
adapts,
feeling
and
spicy,
overcomes.
let's have it be spreadable via air. I mean, you can literally find full hazmat suit guys infected.
Yeah.
In holes in their suit. But they are infected.
Yeah, it is odd, but
The infection doesn't care, lol.
It will defy the laws of physics to make the lives of the characters miserable.
Well, in Left 4 Dead the Richters are all immune. Fully. Which is interesting.
Yeah.
In Back 4 Blood they just kinda drop. They aren't even running after the player.
We treat the infected horde as a major character.
No, they just
kind of
shamble more like a classic Romero zombie.
But how did they take over the whole world then?
Imagination.
Like you can't sell a zombie story, especially as a hard game, if they just shamble after you. Imagine how boring World War Z would be if they just shuffled after people in the game. Or same thing in Left 4 Dead.
Oh yeah, no, like there would be no suspense to it, like whatsoever.
Yeah, it would be funny. But it wouldn't spooky or scary. Or there would be no real risk. You can just turn around and jog away for 3 seconds and have more distance.
And spend a lot of effort.
Yeah, pretty much. Like that is the thing that has always kind of like baffled me about zombie media. Like either the zombies are like full-on Olympic sprinters 24/7 because they no longer have like the like limiters like stopping them like pain-wise from just like overusing their muscles, or B, they're just this shambling, slow-moving horde that is somehow a threat.
But if zombies were like that, their bodies would break down so fast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it does not take long for bodies to decompose to the point where like they are unable of like being used in any kind of functioning capacity.
Humans have limiters so that they don't deteriorate. If a human ran at max speed for 7 days without food or water or sleep, they would probably be dead. If something didn't break or get pulled.
Yeah, I mean, just the lack of water and sleep alone would definitely take them out before then. But yeah, like that kind of stuff for that period of time, like the human body would destroy itself. Like,
I mean, you know how fast and reckless the World War Z zombies are.
oh yeah, no, those things are like feral, like rabid Olympic cheetah sprinter zombies. Like they're zooming.
There is no way you couldn't just wait them out to a certain extent. They just like run into everything head on. And somehow they don't break or rip muscles.
Yeah, that is the weird part. Like, if they, like, destroyed themselves in the process, like, it'd be like, oh, all right, you know, like, they're super terrifyingly fast and stuff, but, like, they'll wear themselves down into nothing, like, pretty quickly. But they just
I'm
don't.
no doctor, but you can't run into a car at 20 miles an hour and not break something. Because the World War Z zombies run full speed, no bars held, they just go.
Yeah, those ones just pick a target and go for it, like, no matter what.
And making their movements believable. Common hordes stagger around, cough, vomit, fight amongst themselves, lean against walls, sit on the ground, and lie down as part of their wandering behaviors. When they see a survivor, they become enraged, taking off in a full sprint, leaning into their turns, trying to get to their victim.
The dynamic between the two is almost like Babby's first toy versus Babby's first video game.
Yeah, it really is, like, night and day between the two. Just, like, how much of, like, a mechanical difference there is. Let alone, like, gameplay stuff and, like, other aspects. Like, it's kind of baffling how one came out so many years later and is somehow subpar quality comparatively.
We wanted to express this rage in their faces as well. So we found efficient ways for each member of the horde to make intense facial expressions.
So for context, in Back 4 Blood, it's a brainworm sort of thing infecting people. But like, why do they all need to look the same exact way?
I mean, from like an actual in-universe lore standpoint, there's no reason. Like, it makes no sense that they would all look the same like
Left
that.
4 Dead had a good system where areas had certain clothing types. This game doesn't do that from when I played. Everyone's got their semi-normal clothes on.
Yeah, they're all kind of have like just the.
There's no worker infected in a lumber yard.
Yeah, they all just kind of like have
There's
their,
infected.
like, generic look. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like they're just like, ah, yes, generic NPC number 1.
Yeah, kinda like Skyrim.
True.
Generic bandit #43. With the same VC as the other 45 bandits. Because Skyrim had like a stupidly low number of
Yeah, Skyrim's VA count
voice
was
actors.
really, really low. Like,
Hey Sephi.
hey, Seth. Yeah, like it's actually just kind of sad seeing like the animations of the one like compared to the other, just like with how, especially considering Back for Blood, like it seems to literally only have a one stagger animation.
I mean, it's literally night and day on the knockback stuff. Left 4 Dead they react, and Back 4 Blood they just like kinda stumble backwards then come back at you.
Yeah, like it is. Like again, it's baffling at how much better Left 4 Dead is, despite the fact that it came out so long ago. You would think they would have like been like, okay, we're gonna try and do Left 4 Dead, but you know,
The
our
time
own take on it.
difference. Right slash.
Yeah, like you would think they would have looked at everything that Left 4 Dead did and been like, okay, how do we do this, but like better or at least on par? And instead, it feels like they did the equivalent of the "Can I copy your homework" meme, and still somehow failed.
Can I copy your homework? Yeah, just change the wording.
It was a challenge to create this diversity of looks for common infected and take advantage of unique clothing or uniforms in specific areas. For instance, lots of TSA agents are spawned in the airport, hospital patients around the hospital, cops in the streets, office employees in the offices, etc. It helped to reinforce the sense of a vast epidemic.
We wanted to add further variety to Left 4 Dead 2's campaigns, so we extended this notion when we added the Mudman, the Clown, the Construction Worker, and the Riot Cop.
Like the Molotov shows off how different the animations are, just like.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it like the animation difference is just like honestly kind of like baffling. Like the Back for Blood ones, when the fire hit them, like they just looked like the stereotypical like wacky flailing inflatable arm man from like like car dealerships.
When Value wants to make a game, they do make a decent job at making it. Valve asterisk.
Yeah, Valve when they do decide to do something.
Can't type tonight, lol.
Words are hard.
Sorry for interrupting, Observer. You were saying?
But yeah, like yeah, Valve when they do decide to make something, they do a really good job of it most of the time. Like they generally seem to put like a lot of actual like effort into like the things that they do when they get around to them, which isn't very often anymore, but when they do.
Yeah, it normally lands on the 7 to 10 range out of 10.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it's like on one hand, it's a shame that they don't like put out as many games as they used to. On the other hand, like I feel like that's part of why the games that they do put out are pretty good quality is because they just focus on like one or two things and like really work on making those things good rather than trying to put out a bunch of stuff.
Their games are normally well received, and they don't churn them out like COD does.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, COD games are I don't understand how a company can churn out like 2 games a year. Like it doesn't make sense to me, but it is a strategy they have stuck with for a while now.
Most AAA games are just safety over innovation because that sells better.
Yeah, and it's a real shame that that's the case too. Like, I remember when it was a lot more common for games to like be something new and interesting, and then like over time it's slowly started to become like more and more consistently just like people doing nothing but the same stuff.
Oh, it is a shame, but sadly AAA games rake in a lot of money, so why break the mold and risk losing a year of profit?
Yeah. That is the unfortunate part about like I won't say the gaming industry as a whole, but the AAA gaming industry specifically. Like that is an unfortunate like thing with that. The indie side of the gaming industry, they do innovation pretty well. Like sometimes they're not great, but at least they're trying to do is interesting stuff.
A lot of companies want infinite growth regardless of sustainability, like for instance making a COD game every year that sells better almost every year.
Yeah, I would say the fact that the COD games sell like consistently good is baffling, but then I remember the fact that every time a new one comes out, there's another like layer.
Because they go back
Not
to their
generation.
shareholders and go, look how much we made.
Yeah. Like there's just like there's another like set of like people I guess that like haven't played COD before. They go, ooh, maybe I'll try this one, and like that seems to be like how they just keep going, like on ad infinitum.
Maybe. Its arm texture is literally bugged out.
Yeah, you can see like parts of the arm, but the rest of it is invisible.
Well, it got shot off, but minor details like that. Yeah, and that's how a lot of indie games do well.
Yeah, like
Then sometimes fail because when they make a second game just copy and paste it from the first one.
Yeah, like the indie scene is very like they're very much willing to like take the risks that bigger companies aren't. And that's why a lot of indie titles have been like doing so well is because like they're trying to do interesting stuff. And again, sometimes it doesn't work out, but like, at least they're willing.
They don't
to,
have profit margins.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like
They don't need to worry about X, Y, and Z.
yeah, DRG, Subnautica, like
Yup.
those are all great examples.
God help us. Something's off. I can feel it.
Man, they really do just fall over like a plank of wood in Back 4 Blood, don't they?
I mean the Back 4 Blood infected barley gets scratched or just like have a crater in their chest.
Since players spend the vast majority of their time shooting the common infected, we wanted to improve the feedback and visceral nature of this experience. In Left 4 Dead 1 we provided only the ability to shoot off limbs. Now, in Left 4 Dead 2, there are 43 unique ways to damage an infected. Because many of these wounds are non-fatal, players are able to wound an infected more than once, resulting in about 780 possible damage combinations.
Not even a scratch.
Man basically got hit with that machete and was like, I'm gonna pretend to be dead to make him feel good.
My man got hit with a Nerf toy.
Really is running that nerf or nothing lifestyle.
Bruh. That's not even like dynamic. That's just like...
That was literally just like a transition effect where like somebody flipped a switch.
Yeah. The blood splatter just hides it, lol.
That is... God, that's rough. The fact that the explosions in Back 4 Blood
Also Reckless, I think mod is on the same engine as Left 4 Dead lol.
It might be, but yeah, the fact that they have like zero inertia on the explosions in Back 4 Blood, where it's just like it explodes and they just fall over exactly where the explosion was, is so jarring.
The bodies just disappear, they didn't even fall over most of them.
Yeah, like all but like 3 of them just liquefied.
Five are in the group. Three of them are just gone.
Yeah, just completely evaporated. Like that is.
And 2 just fell over.
Yeah, that is just. It's just sad.
The environments in Left 4 Dead are geometrically complex and littered with breakable.
Wait. You can't break stuff in Back 4 Blood.
That is so upsetting.
The environments in Left 4 Dead are geometrically complex and littered with breakable and movable objects.
The lack of proper.
All it takes is the minor attention to detail.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, it really does come down to that. Like it is. Like
you don't need like Earl level physics.
Like it is just like putting in the work.
But not being able to destroy wood.
Yeah, like the fact that they put in the work to like make it feel realistic. It's not necessarily like one to one accurate, obviously, but the fact that they at least made the world feel realistic for what it is does so much for like environmental storytelling and like gameplay and everything else. And the fact that Back for Blood doesn't even have like the most basic level of that it's jarring. Like that's the kind of thing you do notice when you play a game. Like, oh, I can't kick this traffic cone, or like this box didn't break when a bomb went off. Like it's weird, and you notice that kind of thing because it's just not right.
Like the dev said, when you walk into office and you see an infected office worker, it shows that the world is more grim than it seems. And yeah, what you said as well. If you can't have basic interaction in the world, then it's not that fun. As fun asterisk.
Yeah. Like the world just feels more dead to an extent than like if that kind of thing like isn't around. Like it doesn't necessarily
It
make
feels
a game
more like
bad.
a game.
Yeah. Yeah, like it doesn't necessarily make a game bad depending on what type of game it is, but you definitely do notice it.
It
And
doesn't
in
need to
something
be
like
our level
this,
reality.
yeah, like something like this, like you kind of want at least the most basic level of like world interaction.
But simple things like cones being movable and wood being breakable. Makes it a little more living of a world and more interactive.
Yeah.
You want your players to go, oh wow, I can move this, or oh wow, look, this is breakable, I didn't know that. It keeps players coming back and showing friends and so on.
Oh yeah, like it definitely does add like a level of like quality, I guess is the word to like a game where like it makes you want to play more of it just so that you can see like what all you can do.
That's why Left 4 Dead is still going with a lot of players. 20k-ish, and Back 4 Blood has its servers being shut down.
Yeah, like overall, like it just genuinely feels like with a lot of this stuff, like it feels like they just legitimately didn't care. Like they were just trying to get the game out as fast as they possibly could, in a sense.
And continuing support being cut, and to top it off, Back 4 Blood has
Yeah, like it's just not a good look for the game or the company, because the thing is the
no,
game,
not at all.
like the game being what it is, like it has potential. Like they could take and improve this and make it a really good game, but they've just chosen to throw it out as fast as they could and then just leave it. Like like it's the equivalent of someone finding an uncut diamond and throwing it in the trash bin.
Instead of fixing it, they just finished the look and then moved on. The game is 2 years old. 2.
Yeah.
It came out in 2021.
God, it's weird to think that is already 2 years old. Like it's not old for a game by any means, but the fact that it's already 2 years old feels strange because it doesn't feel like it came out like that long ago. But yeah, it's weird. It is genuinely weird how they just kind of like we're like, okay, here's the game, and we're abandoning it. Just
It's kinda sad if this is where we are going to be going, where game companies, as the saying goes, throws the baby out with the bathwater.
yeah, and like it unfortunately like it does seem to be like a trend where it's just like, okay, here's a game, and all right, people bought it, we got our money, we don't care anymore. Like it's not great, but it does definitely seem to be a thing that's happening more than it used to.
Yeah. This literally sums it up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that one definitely shows a lot.
We are sorry we took $70 from you and you don't like our game, we aren't fixing it. Too bad, so sad.
Yeah, like it's the reason like I used to like back in the day when games would come out like properly finished with like, like
It's
minor amounts of
literally
like
been
bugs and
everywhere now,
stuff.
lol.
Yeah, like it's like I remember like I used to like pre-order games and like, like purchase games on release day and stuff like that. I rarely ever do that kind of thing now because there's not really much of any like development companies and stuff that like actually seem to care enough to like put out a finished like good product. Like they just want your money. And it's so rare to find like games that come out on release now, at least AAA games that like are actually good quality games where it's like, yeah, no, this is worth it. Indie games can be very hit or miss sometimes, but usually they're cheap enough that like it doesn't feel like you're like being ripped off like if it's a bad game. Yeah, yeah, and it's that mentality specifically for that like a lot of companies now have that is so upsetting because
Okay, I gotta say this as a hot take. I'm sorry. This. Do not be afraid to call out major companies for their crap.
yeah. Yeah, like whether we say anything or not, it might not mean much, but like it is good that like you like point out the fact that like, hey, this stuff's not okay, because like it's really not.
Redfall is a nightmare of a game.
Oh yeah. And yeah, like I definitely agree with that, Seffi. Like I do hate how the word disingenuous like gets used completely incorrectly so often anymore. Like people throw it out like it's a buzzword.
I see people all the time on Twitter trying to strike up at others over like the littlest things, and it's like, I don't like Twitter.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, like I only had a Twitter account specifically for
And sometimes it's the most petty thing ever.
Oh yeah, no. Like they like people on Twitter will argue and like go after people over the dumbest things imaginable. Not too dissimilar from real life, but like it is baffling. But yeah, like I only had a Twitter for like streaming and stuff like that, and then Twitter was just randomly like, "Hey, we don't
Twitter
like
is
you."
literally drama central.
Yeah. And you know, honestly, like at this point, after having not really had Twitter per se for like 3 months, I honestly feel like someone at Twitter headquarters was just doing me a favor. Like legitimately. Like it's it's just a bad platform.
You get random people who just drop content creators just to get clout. And of course that is not all of them. But you see if very often where people try to pick fights with content creators of dumb things.
Oh yeah, like that seems to be like a really popular tactic. Like I mean, before like content creators were like they like kind of I guess prominent like entertainment like thing. Like people would just try and start things with celebrities, which I mean they still do that now, but like now it's more common for the people to go after content creators because I guess they feel like they're an easier target, but will still get them attention.
Dude, I literally hate watching someone just try to flame a content creator for like no reason.
Yeah, like it's very much like the I need attention mindset, and like they just do whatever they can to
Or
get
the
it.
smallest thing which the content creator apologizes for.
Oh yeah. Yeah. People latch onto that stuff real hard for some reason nowadays. It's just like, ah, yes, you said sorry for this one thing. We're going to remember that forever. It's like, why though? Yeah, like you really can't in like the modern like ecosphere like apologize for anything, or like people will just go after you for it.
Oh, you apologized. Well, I don't care that you misspoke.
Yeah. Like, and that's just the kind of like general mentality nowadays is like, if somebody does something wrong,
I
go after them.
don't care that you typed she instead of he.
Yeah.
Get Thanos snapped.
Oh yeah. But yeah, like it's this weird like double standard mentality of like, ah,
Hell, I
yes, you
type
said
I
something
still have
wrong.
typos.
Yeah. Where it's just like, where it's like, ah, yes, you did something wrong. Get them. You apologized for that thing you did wrong. Get
You
him.
know
It's
how
just like,
hard it is to keep up with chat sometimes.
yeah. Oh yeah, it could be very hard. But yeah, it's like it's this constant like aggro mentality that like has like taken over like how people do things. Like, and it's so weird.
It is weird. If you want to, you can be a content creator. But don't try to start content creation by picking a fight with someone just to get clout. Because these people won't stick around. Unless you're always fighting.
Oh yeah. Like there are definitely people
Hey
that
Maker.
make their oh yeah, hey Maker. Like there are definitely people that make their career doing that kind of stuff, but I don't understand it. Like I don't understand how someone can like handle like living that kind of like lifestyle where you're just like constantly aggro at people in order to like do stuff.
But you're going
It
to
just
get
doesn't feel
exhausted
healthy.
because if you do anything else, you're not going to have a community.
Yeah. That kind of like lifestyle for content creation, like it can't be healthy for the person doing the content or like the people watching it. Like it's like it is a very destructive cycle, it feels like.
It's also very toxic.
Oh yeah.
To you, your family, your friends, the people you're going after.
Yeah, like it's just like it is just a way to make people miserable, including yourself. And like that's just like why would you want to do that? Like legitimately. Like
Personality set to toxic Twitter mod. Mob
yeah.
asterisk.
I mean both work. Both are definitely accurate in that context.
I've seen like 2 or 3 times people get whipped up in a frenzy over something that once true and it. Is scary to watch as someone who makes content because it stressed me out.
Yeah. Like it is weird how fast people like
Why are you mad? I don't know anymore.
yeah, exactly. Like it is very weird at like the like social psychological like effects of like that kind of stuff of like people just get mad really quickly over things and then like even after they like learn the truth about something or whatever just continue to stay mad because like they just don't know what else to do. It's kind of baffling.
I play my games, I try to collab, I stay to myself, and everyone is welcome here as long as they follow the rules.
Yeah. That's because Best Burp is chill and very fun to hang out with. Because you're a very nice person.
You know what that means? Fish.
Don't hail me.
You know what that means? Fish.
Praise be to the funny kind of verb.
Did you want to move away from the back for blood?
I'm fine with whatever. Like it has definitely sparked some like interesting conversations about both the game
We
itself.
kinda
and, like,
went off
things surrounding it.
topic, lol.
Yeah. I feel like that's just kind of the nature of a podcast, though. Like that just kind of happens.
One thing I want to talk about though. So does anyone watch tech side of YouTube?
I will be the first one to admit, myself, not personally, like unless it's like kind of like off the wall wacky tech. Like sometimes I'll like some of that stuff will like crop up in my like feed and whatnot, but not like PC tech type stuff really.
So I watch Linus Tech Tips, Jaspersons, and Gamers Nexus. I am a nerd. I'll just be honest.
I guarantee with just that
I
information
wear my
alone, you
Coke bottle
probably
glasses
already
with
know,
pride.
Yeah, you probably already know more about PCs than I do. Just from that info alone.
I did build my own wall. The one I currently use. But that aside. So a major tech reviewer, J2Sense, said he wasn't going to work with ASUS anymore. And we are going to watch that video.
Dear Asus, it's been real, but it's over. All right, everybody, so this is, you guys have probably seen Steve's videos about all the ongoing drama with the 7800X3D blowing up. Steve's got multiple parts on this video, and it's funny because there's some issues I've been experiencing.
So for reference, this is a motherboard problem.
That is definitely
And this the new AMD Ryzen GPU. Trying to find a price.
And thus Vess was lost to the deep mines of the internet, attempting to find the fabled price tag.
Okay, so the price looks to be around $399 for lower end and $699 for higher end. So just imagine buying a 700 GB then a 200 to 400 motherboard. And both parts burning, possibly plus the rest of the like.
Pain.
That are really kind of aligning with some of the issues that he's unearthed, if you will. Actually, I don't know if Steve has unearthed it as much as Asus just made it super obvious that they are a company that is no longer worthy of allowing them to sponsor us or your money. And my first obligation on this channel is to the consumer. And so what we're gonna do today is I'm just gonna kind of spit out some stuff about this, some of my own personal experiences and what the future is gonna look like regarding Asus as being a part of our channel. So if it seems a little all over the place and discombobulated, then bear with me. This is only the second time I've had to do this in the last almost 11 years now that I've
In 11 years he has only booted off 2 companies from sponsoring him. That's a lot coming from a tech YouTube.
been running this channel. Asus, as you can see,
That is definitely like a big like, hey, this doesn't happen often thing.
Yeah. I personally won't be buying Asus anymore.
Yeah,
even if they fix this problem, like.
Yeah, like, and the other thing is, I do like.
I don't want to risk parts.
Oh yeah, I don't want to risk my stuff either. But like, I do like the fact that he's like, hey, first and foremost, like consumers come first. So like that's why, like we're going through with this. Like that is nice. I do like that.
I'm already scared of breaking them when putting them together, let alone needing to worry about a manufacturer defect of this scale.
Yeah. Like I already spent a decent chunk of money like on like my
Oh, whoops, your is on fire.
Yeah, like I already spent a decent chunk like
My
having
bad.
mine built. Like I definitely would not want to have to like replace it. Like even though mine is covered under like warranty and stuff for that kind of thing, just in case, like it's still like I wouldn't want to be out of PC for like a month.
It's still a hassle.
Yeah, like I wouldn't want to be out of PC for like a month or so just
They will
because,
hassle
like,
you.
a manufacturer like screwed you over basically. It's not good.
Yup.
this is only some of the motherboards we've received just since this last launch, technically last 2 launches. It's a big deal. For us to say, hey, keep your stuff, it's a pretty big deal because we rely on a lot of parts sponsorships to do the builds and the videos and the how-tos and the tutorials and all that sort of stuff. More often than not, we'll receive way more product than we've asked for, which is kind of, as you can see right here. The problem with ASUS is the fact that over the last 3 or 4 generations, it has been a steady decline in not only quality, but backing their products, RMA experiences for the general consumer, and even our own personal experiences with us getting bad hardware and then terrible support in handling that bad hardware. So I don't even.
So, the first people you want to impress are the YouTuber. If you can't even help them,
guys now following.
Yeah, like that's
what are you doing?
yeah, that's a bad sign. Like if somebody like if you as a company like you send your product to like a YouTuber or like a streamer or whatever, and your product manages to like fail for even them, and then you fail to like properly like either like compensate them in a way or like help them out, to like fix whatever issue you might be having with your stuff. Like that is pretty much like that is putting one foot in the grave.
Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the comfy moonlit tundra. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that is just rough, and like you can even see it.
Because to a certain extent you have to stay tight-lipped about some things if you have a contract.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you have to do some kind of like NDA stuff, like that stuff, like you do have to like, obviously just like not say anything about it or whatever, and like that kind of thing can suck, especially when like stuff like this happens and you're technically under NDA, because then you can't even like really warn people, like if that's the case, which is like extra bad. But yeah,
But most YouTubers like this in the tech genre don't, so it's normally an honest response.
yeah, which is a good thing,
And
I
that's
like
why we're seeing this.
Yeah, like I like the fact that that is the case, because like it keeps it like it keeps like the general like like I guess like viewership like informed of like, hey, this is what's going on, like this is what to watch out for kind of stuff, like, and that is nice that like they do kind of have that
They
freedom, I
expect the
guess.
tech YouTubers to peddle, oh we like this, or oh we don't like this.
Yeah, the tech YouTubers are very much like on the line of like, yeah, no, this is how it is, and they just tell it to you like the way it is. Like there are some of them that do that, but like those ones usually like people like don't pay too much
Because
attention
you're
to.
not going to sell the same person a motherboard every single gen.
Yeah. Yeah, it is like as a tech company, like we're wronging in a sense, I guess.
You're lucky if on average you sell someone a motherboard every other gen.
Oh yeah, like that's a lucky like play if you manage to pull that off. But yeah, like
And I'm not talking poo gens.
oh yeah, no. But yeah, like
I'm talking motherboard gens.
yeah, like motherboards are not something you should need that often. Yeah, like yeah, in like Seffi's case, like there are definitely certain exceptions, but they're not super common.
No, the only time you need a new motherboard is for socket support.
But yeah, like if you manage to wrong a tech YouTuber in some way, like that is you have just basically painted a target on yourself for like people being like, oh yes, your product.
Unless you use Intel, because I swear like every single GPU uses different socket types.
Yeah, that is a weird problem that seems to be a thing. You would think they would make that kind of stuff more uniform. At least for, like PC build type stuff. Like you'd think they would be more like
It's because they sell more motherboards.
Yeah, that is
to
true.
go with the GPUs. Doesn't need to. Speaking of companies, Foot Locker.
Oh no.
Released a video showing that their employees don't have seats to sit at and aren't allowed to sit.
Why, as a company, would you release that kind of thing? Like that. Like if you're doing that kind of stuff as a company, like that is
were banned
like
from sitting at work.
business 101 is don't let that kind of information get out, not put it on the internet. Like that's
This video of sportswear store staff
very
mocking the
backwards.
new
Like it's
rules
good that we
went
know
viral
about
in
it
no
now
time,
because that's
making
terrible.
others criticize the company and showing their own ways of overcoming inhuman rules. While some states have right to sit
shouldn't be a
laws,
thing,
workers in
but,
others can be forced to be on their
like,
feet across their entire
putting that
shift,
info out
leading
there
to them
is-
inventing creative ways to rest while still not technically sitting. Is this okay in the 21st
Like, it's
century?
good that people know about it now, so that like maybe something can be done about it, because that is.
But they did it themselves. They posted it on their Instagram. And then took it down.
That is one of those like today in internet history like fails like levels of you screwed up. Like it's good that they did screw up because now people know about it, but like Jesus, like how?
They thought they were being quirky.
Yeah, and why would you want to do that to your employees? Because it's baffling that anyone would continue to work there with that being like a thing.
Look how our workers don't sit during their hours. Look how bad we treat our employees.
Yeah, I feel like honestly, I'm actually more surprised there just hasn't been like a lawsuit for this kind of thing than the fact that we're just now finding out about it.
Man, the year is 2023. Oh, there probably has been.
Yeah, yeah, there might have been at some point.
But these companies have more money than me or you or anyone who will sue them.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. In most work-related cases, yeah. I feel like in this specific case, though, I feel like this does
They
technically
can
fall under some
outwait
other
you,
stuff.
settle out of court, or just fire you and try to spin a media storm.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of things they can do to get out of it, but I feel like
They have more money than you.
like technically there are things that like this could be done for other than damages, but like whether that would be enough to like actually get you anywhere is the question.
It depends on the state.
Yeah, it really does depend on the state.
Because some states have sitting laws. Where you are legally allowed to sit while working. Your job has to provide you with an area where you can sit.
Yeah. Yeah, it is like that kind of stuff is strange. Like it really is.
Imagine not being given even a stool if you're a cashier.
Yeah, like that. I am legitimately surprised, like, nothing about that has come out sooner than this. Because I feel like, especially in the modern age, where like everybody's using their phone to record stuff and put stuff online, I feel like that would have happened sooner.
Like 8 hours on your feet is miserable, whether it's fast food or cashier or whatever.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like it doesn't matter what job you do, like how physically intensive or not the job is. Like if you're on your feet the entire 8 hours, like it's just not good. Like not only is it a not fun experience, like it's like genuinely not necessarily good for you, especially like if you're on like hard flooring and stuff the entire time too.
Because all the floors are made to be easy to clean, not comfortable.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
Don't worry about it. That's part of the joy of podcasts. We get to talk about wacky, interesting things, and then once in a while, our brain goes, yes. And then we just end up talking about something else.
I'm pro workers' rights lol. Kinda feel that way after the jobs I've had not treating me the best at jobs.
Yeah.
I don't know where to begin. Right now, ASUS has thrown itself off a cliff. It's thrown itself off a cliff when it comes to consumer confidence. And I'm going to use that term, consumer confidence. I know that ASUS is all about brand strength, like how strong is our brand in the industry. And no one has drugged their name through the dirt more than ASUS themselves. The most recent straw that has really broken the camel's back for me to make this decision about not allowing ASUS to have any part in our channel moving forward is the latest BIOS revisions that they have created for their X670E boards that are known to be overvolting the SoC on the chips, specifically the X3D chips, causing catastrophic failure to both CPUs and motherboards. And this so-called fix which Steve shows actually doesn't fix it, the problem still persists, voids your warranty. So,
The fix. That doesn't fix it. Voids your warranty.
That... Wow.
Bruh.
A fix that doesn't work, voiding your warranty. And that's what they're actively recommending.
And voids your
people to do.
warranty.
Like, that... The fact that that's what they recommend people to do, essentially,
I'm
to
at
try
a
and fix the
loss.
problem. Like, that is...
It's a BIOS update.
That...
Released by the board dev.
Like, that has to be illegal to some extent, right? Like, that
How does
can't
it void a warranty?
like, one, yeah, it does. It does make me question, like, how that could
They are
possibly
releasing
void a
it.
warranty, but like, how? How can, like...
Not some indie dev.
That is actually baffling. Like, how can you release a fix for something as the company that actively voids the warranty on your products without it somehow being illegal? It's like, that is essentially telling your consumers, hey, do this thing so that we
So
don't have
here's
to
a
pay
good
you if something
example.
goes wrong.
NVIDIA cards lose warranty if you overclock them. Which okay, I get. You're choosing to pretty much boost them. Which removes their max limit in voltage intake. But this isn't the same. You're not choosing to boost your... You need BIOS. You can't run without it.
Yeah, like, that is...
This frustrates me as a % person.
Like, even as someone that just knows the basics, like, so that I could, like, put my PC together and, like, make sure that it runs properly. Like, that is actually baffling that they can, like, do that and somehow not face repercussions, or at least not enough that they haven't suffered for it yet. So that is... Again, that is essentially them legitimately telling you, hey, do this
Well,
thing.
with my
but you have
motherboard, I
to
had to update my BIOS to get Mike to work on it.
Yeah. But yeah, like, that is... It is legitimately just them telling customers, like, hey, do this thing, because if you don't, your PC may never run again. But if you do, just remember, hey, that voids the warranty. So if something goes wrong, we're not liable anymore. We don't have to pay you anything. Like, that is...
The newer GPUs may self-overclock, but still. Even if they do. This isn't the GPU voiding the warranty. It's the motherboard getting a BIOS update, which voids it.
God, that is actually just baffling. Like I
That's like how some games on Steam, Jedi game, only lets you play on tubes. Then locks you out on anything else.
that's also another case of like something like a choice being very baffling. But yeah, that is.
No, it shouldn't void your warranty, but here is where we're lol.
Yeah, that is that is them actively like basically using a BIOS update to avoid paying for like people's like burnt out like PCs and stuff essentially.
This
Like,
is
I feel
actively
like that is
anti-consumer.
yeah, like it is them legitimately like in a way I feel like this is how they out themselves from having to pay from PCs that are like being burnt out and stuff by their motherboards. Like it
Sleep
is
well, Tsuba.
yeah, take care, Suba. But yeah, like it is they are basically using this BIOS update to void people's warranties so that if the motherboard still ruins someone's PC, they don't have to like replace the parts. And that person is stuck like paying for whatever happens. Like that feels like what they're using this for.
I hope they get backlash for this.
Oh, they definitely should. Like this is actually
This is
like
not okay
scum
from
of
a
the earth.
consumer standpoint.
You know, like this is actual like scum of the earth company like tactics right here. Like that's just bad.
This is like buying food and then an employee eating your food and then you not getting your food.
Yeah. Yeah, like it really is. Like it is.
And then the manager sides with the employee.
Yeah. That is like it is. God, it really is just baffling. Like it's like this has to break laws somewhere. Like this actively has to be like breaking like laws of some kind.
Because it is a quote unquote beta, which by the way, if it's not tested, it even says in the language on the BIOS description that it is still in testing and is not officially released. It makes zero sense for a motherboard manufacturer to release a beta BIOS when something this serious is happening. Look, beta BIOS exists.
That makes it worse. It's a beta BIOS too. I'll let him explain.
So they've existed for a long time for graphics cards as well as motherboards. But typically the beta features that you're dealing with here are maybe USB stability or maybe memory, QVL updates, or maybe like XMP/Expo updates. That
So what he's saying is, beta, driver updates or BIOS updates aren't needed. They test basic things. Ntogen that won't break your... Nothing asterisk.
Yeah, like the beta stuff is just things that like they're like optional features that aren't important. And the fact that this beta BIOS update is literally something that your PC can't function without is that is
Yes.
breaking all of the rules.
to prevent your CPU from lighting on fire from too much voltage. And if you download the fix which isn't verified yet, you lose your warranty.
That is just so like it's not just that they have bad products now, like they're also essentially using scummy tactics to prevent from paying for replacement parts for people or things that go wrong. Like that is so bad.
That sort of thing, or DOCP, Expos new to AN5, not having it literally be a voltage change that can affect literally everything connected to your motherboard in a catastrophic way of cascading failure if it goes bad. So to put out a BIOS that says this is supposed to fix the problem, we think, we're not sure, we're still testing it, feel free to try it. Oh, by the way, if you install this in their motherboard, then you absolutely void your warranty and we're no longer responsible for any catastrophic failure that may happen on your board. So it's kind of like
So term catastrophic failure means everything fails, i.e. all your parts die.
they're dangling the carrot in front of you saying, hey, this will fix your board, but it also allows you to void your warranty if you don't do the due diligence and read the entire description of the BIOS. So that is so anti-consumer. That is so, we don't stand by our product.
Not just that. But it's so slimy.
Like that's the thing. That's the type of thing I would expect from like scummy, like just like bad. Like,
And so Snake like to be like, hey, it might work.
Like, God, that is like that's the kind of like tactics you would expect from like a shady like back alley dealer for something of like stolen goods or whatever. Like that's just the fact that it's just like a company just like a bold-faced like in the front up front saying like, hey, by the way, we might destroy your PC. Oh, but this thing you need, if you do that, we're not liable anymore. Is like it really is the equivalent of like a stolen good dealer or something just being like, hey, I stole this from somewhere. If you get in trouble for owning this piece of stolen property, not my problem. What?
Imagine going to build a percent then seeing these videos, and so you wait to assemble your. How long till they fix this? Like, would you wait? Or just send the board back and buy a new one?
Like, if I was in the process of building a PC and I had Asus parts and saw this video, me personally, I would just send the parts back and find a different,
I'd send them back.
Like, there's like I don't care if I would end up spending more money to like send the parts back.
I would not wait for it to be fixed.
Like it would not be worth waiting, especially because there's no guarantee that the company wouldn't try and screw you over later in the future. Like it's just like at this point, because of what they've done, like they have killed any and all faith in
I would not risk hundreds to thousands of dollars on PC parts.
Yeah. Like, like it's not worth the risk to
Over
the
one
other
thing.
parts. Yeah, like it's not worth that risk to the other parts, nor is it worth the risk of like what the company might do in the future that could like ruin something you have. Like it's like they have killed like all consumer confidence in them by doing this.
No, it is not worth it.
Yeah, like there's no way that I feel like anyone could justifiably say they would keep the parts in a weight because it's that bad.
That is so frick you as a consumer. All we care about is protecting our
I love how he edited the "F you to be a sus you."
Yeah, that
our
was
bottom.
good. That was a
Frick
nice
you
little,
as a
nice
consumer.
little editing.
All we care about is protecting our bottom dollar, our bottom line. Screw you and your $700 board or $1,200 board, whichever board it is. This one here, the Crosshair Extreme 670E is $1,000. Yeah.
Umfk. It's not even like $300. It's $1,000. $1,000 part. And you have this problem.
This one. Screw consumer. Stand by our product.
Like any self-respecting company,
you as a consumer.
like if they had this kind of problem with like a part or like some other thing that they were putting out, would either recall them or like put out a warning, like or something, because God, that is.
They should have recalled them.
Yeah, like there should have been something done,
I won't buy MSI either. Lol.
Yeah.
MSI is also kinda like Asus.
We care about is protecting our bottom dollar, our bottom line. Screw you and your $700 board or $1,200 board, whichever board it is. This one here, the Crosshair Extreme 670E is $1,000. Yeah, this is one that's been blowing up stuff as well, including the board I have in my system, the X670E Crosshair Hero. That's another one. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. That's the latest thing. I mean, let's not forget about the capacitor issue being installed backwards on Intel motherboards for the 12th gen, leading
How do you put something like this backwards? And not recall them?
Yeah, how do you just allow that? Like that is like that's not even a case of like at that point that's not even a case of negligence. I feel like that's almost a case of intentional sabotage. Like at that point, like if you've put that many of them out there that it becomes like a common problem, like it's no longer an accident at that point. Like I feel like.
You can use Gigabyte. Or a Shrock. Personally, I'd use these two companies.
Leading to actual burning and potential fire issues, and the quiet, let's protect our brand and not be too noisy about the fact that there's a recall on this, when recalls are intended to be loud and heard so everyone knows, so none of these accidentally end up in the
So when they did a recall, they did it quiet like Slash.
Of course they did.
So, is it even a recall?
You know, like, if it's a recall, everybody should know about it. Like, this is more like them just trying to under the radar, like, minimize their damages before people start figuring it out.
Gigabyte Mixorus. It's the company who made Mike Poo. They are not a part of ASUS. But I'd recommend a Shrock. My last motherboard was made by them and it was good.
Yeah, I've got a...
I'd heard MSI was bad with consumer care.
MSI is, like, their consumer care is very hit or miss, and I feel like that's depends on what region you're in. Like, I have an MSI PC, but I didn't get it through MSI. I got it through a company called Zodic, and they build custom PCs for people. And so, like, so when I have to deal with, like, any kind of, like, customer care or anything like that, I go through them, not MSI. So, like the actual tech itself from MSI seems pretty solid.
Well, that's different, lol.
Yeah, like, but yeah, like the actual tech from MSI seems pretty solid, but like the customer stuff, I have no idea.
the wild, causing some potential serious danger. You guys remember my video about that and how they're hiding it all behind Freedom of Information Act. They don't want you to know what they found. They just want you to go away as a customer. So breaking the third wall here, we just rearranged the boards because I had to find the one that I'm about to reference. Anyway, third wall, fourth wall, seventh wall, I don't know.
The third wall back there.
It takes 7 boards to get a good one from Asus. Let me explain. So when I started.
Damn. He is not having it, lol.
The Mega Man build, I wanted to use a white motherboard because of the fact that Asus has white motherboards. They're not as common, but they do have them. And thank God this all went down the way it did, because now I have an MSI board in there, so I'm free and clear from all this crap moving forward. We'll talk about what's in this box in a second, because this box was a replacement for something that I had received. So I had requested the ROG Maximus Z790 Apex, and the entire reason for that is the fact that it's a white motherboard. Here it is. Well, it's technically silver, like kind of a metal-y color. So this board, I think, would have been perfect for the Mega Man build. Well, do you want to know what happened when I opened it up? There's an entire row of smash pins at the bottom. An entire
I'm sorry, I'm speechless.
That is...
They have a
How
pin
do you-
protector for shipping. And then they get wrapped. How?
Like, what were the people doing in shipping with that? Were they just, like, throwing
Playing
them around?
golf.
Like
Golf
what was this,
asterisk.
like, what was this, like, football day with the shipping box? Like, I don't get it.
You can rebend the pins, but still.
Yeah, like, but still, it's like something, especially, you know, like, if you're paying, like, upwards of $1,000 for a part like that, you should not have to worry about that kind of thing.
This should
like,
not be a
ever.
problem for a 1K board.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, that should never be an issue when you're spending that much money on something.
That thing better be brought via carrier unicorn.
row. So of
I want
course I
that thing
immediately
express
have
delivered
my
via teleportation array.
my
like,
brand manager who
like,
works internally with me
like,
here.
for that
he's
kind of
actually
price.
the one the board is the build is for. So this is his motherboard. I said, yo, get Asus on the phone and ask them what the frick. I mean, I'm just like, what the hell? So the explanation was, we're so sorry, and I'm not like, I'm obviously being dramatic with the tone. They weren't like, we're so sorry, but they were like, oh, we apologize, because I was like, how the hell do we receive something like this? We've always received product that's new, right? They were like, we're so sorry, somehow that particular board was an RMA return. You know how so many RMAs are like void due to smash pins, and there's always been claims of like people assuming that the brands are smashing the pins themselves because they can just void it. Anyway, that's anecdotal and I can't prove it. I digress. That board somehow ended up in the wrong shelf, and it was supposed to be a warranted / returned item for recycling, et cetera, and it somehow got put into the creator / influencer stack where we send stuff to influencers.
How?
Like, that's...
Is that just an excuse?
It has to just be an excuse, because like that, like if you're sending stuff, like if you have like a courier / influencer, like, you know, like section, like there is no way that you don't double and triple check the stuff that you are sending to those people.
Wouldn't you want to not send them broken things?
Yeah, like exactly. Like there's no way that like that section isn't like triple, quadruple checked like every time to like make sure that they're getting the right box and not like
Yeah.
a used or warranted item. Like that. That is 100% just them like trying to find some excuse.
That's
like,
got to
the
be an
best they can come up
excuse.
with.
When they request product, and I'm like, okay, that's not good. That's not okay, because what if that had ended up in a resale stack? Look, this is the kind of thing that Newegg was also known to do and got in trouble for, was taking back RMAs and known bad product and reselling it again. And then it's just, anyway, moving on. So this was my replacement. This is also It was a white box that came from China, had China labels, China Post crap all over it, DHL, et cetera, et cetera. I opened it up, and you know what? It's just the board with a random piece of foam in there. So.
Okay. This makes me cringe.
I hate, I hate to say it, but the instant he said it was like covered in.
They put motherboards in this anti-static not wrapper but like sleeve.
Yeah, like it's just like, oh man, God, if I had received any of my PC stuff, like in stuff
Let's
like that.
see what he's got to say, lol.
So moving on, no accessories or anything else that went with it. So fine, this was from an RMA. I now know.
No accessories. None.
Absolutely nothing.
Just keyboard.
Just
no
here's
guide.
Box. Here's board. Like figure it out. Like
no link to guide for board. No wireless Wi-Fi adapter. Nothing.
Just the board, a little piece of plastic, and a tiny piece of foam.
Oh, okay.
That is.
The motherboard is not going to be new at this point. They just, and I think this came down to a supply issue because they didn't have enough white ones. This one also has something going on with the socket where I don't know if it's a bent, I haven't looked at it on the microscope yet. I don't know if it's a bent pin, if there's fuzz in there or something, but it's also got scratches and stuff on it. So this is also not a,
He's so exhausted. He's just done.
Like I definitely feel that. Like,
and I feel it from him.
Yeah, like it.
Because I want to scream.
Yeah, like I'm having like secondhand like PC existentialism right now just from witnessing like these motherboards. Like it is.
Now I don't think that influencers should be treated like gods. But they can't even get his stuff right.
Yeah. Like
what hope does everyone else have?
Yeah, like if the guy that people send PC parts to like have them reviewed and put in builds and like all this kind of other stuff is if they can't even like treat the like,
and they mess up.
Yeah, like if they can't even treat it like the like priority consumer, I guess is the way I'll put it. Like good, the average consumer has no hope whatsoever. Like that is. Oh, that is a bad sign. Not that the rest of what we've witnessed hasn't been, but that even like that's just an even like that's just like a cherry on top of this like mountain of like terrible nonsense.
I wouldn't even call them a priority consumer because they help sell the product.
That's true. That's true.
So they send 7K worth of boards, they aren't losing much in reality.
Yeah, until they do something like this.
If 1.6 million people watch a video, Until this video lol.
So this was like the final straw where I basically was like, okay, Aces, we got on the phone again.
And
I'm
that's
like,
the other thing,
this
like,
is not okay.
It's not like an isolated thing where it's just like, oh, this guy has gotten a bad board, so he'll stop doing stuff with him.
It was twice. For him alone.
Yeah, like it'll be this thing where, like, because that's the thing is like tech channels, like they stay in contact with each other, like they talk with each other, like even if they have kind of like a rivalry
yeah.
and stuff with one another, like they talk. So if this happens to one of them, they all know about it now.
Even if they stay to themselves.
Yeah, like that is the type of thing that like that's the kind of information that they share like readily with one another. So like somebody like a company doing this kind of thing or having this kind of thing happen, they all know now. And
Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the comfy moonlit tundra.
yeah. And like yeah, like they like now that they all know now. So like it's not just going to be an, oh, this channel is going to be leaving like bad reviews for Asus and stuff now and like, you know, like not doing stuff with them anymore. Like it is going to be all of them are going to know about this and will likely recommend people to stay away from that product, which is going to be just an absolutely massive amount of people going,
The reason I mentioned Gamers Nexus is because Gamers Nexus regularly rips into tech companies for stuff.
Yeah.
They do not care.
Yeah.
They aren't there to be their friends. Your product is crap.
Yeah, they just tell
They
it
say it.
exactly like it is.
Welcome, Owen.
Hello.
What the hell is going on? And of course, falling all over themselves, apologizing.
And
I feel bad for our
honestly, I feel like Asus is gonna have a rough time after like this information like coming out. Like
Thanks, Owen.
Oh, and look, 43 is now following.
So the stock OSS is on a rise.
This information is baffling to me. And more so than anything else we've currently listened to. The fact that their stock is going up is concerning, if anything.
I mean, Microsoft went up after they laid off people.
Okay, you have a point there. Yeah. Yep. That was the thing.
Thank you for the follow.
Because it's not her problem. She's not the one sending us this stuff. She's putting in the orders, and then Asus corporate, wherever they are, this one came from Taiwan. This one came from stateside, the original Smash Pin one. Moving on, I requested another whiteboard, and we got a black one. So that's when I finally, and it didn't fit, as you guys saw, so that's why I finally moved to MSI. That was our most recent experience. My personal rig, if you guys watch my live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Jace2Cents.
Man. Not cool, he plugged himself. Lol. Jokes aside.
My most recent live stream, you guys know I'm running a 7950X3D. And I've got the X670E Crosshair Hero, which is one of the boards that has been identified as blowing up 7800X3D CPUs. So far, everything's been fine with my 7950X3D. My voltages all seem to be okay. It seems to be potentially a BIOS issue with the 7800X3Ds. You guys know I've been having nothing but crazy RAM stability issues.
Yeah, I thought it was a person doing the "wanna bite Twitch followers" things for a second. That's why I was so silent. I was dumbfounded.
When you first saw Halo, were you blinded by its majesty?
Blinded?
Paralyzed? Dumbstruck?
No.
Yet the humans were able to evade your ships, land on the sacred ring, and desecrate it with their filthy footsteps.
Noble Hierarchs, surely you understand.
I've updated the BIOS once since all this happened, and I haven't touched it again because it's been fairly solid. A couple days back, I had a random blue screen. My system had been on all day, no problem. I had a random blue screen. I'm like, that's really odd. So then I turned on the system, went about my day, fired up my live stream. You guys know the second I went live, this happened.
Camera. Where did you go?
So while trying to troubleshoot that, I restart the system and my camera comes back, but upon restart, I ended up dealing with my GoXLR app kept crashing. Kept saying could not connect to device. My mouse and keyboard, even though they're wireless, the wireless dongles were connecting and disconnecting. I loaded up Audacity because I was trying to modify an audio clip that I was trying to load onto my XLR because I like to play fart and stupid immature sounds. Opening up Audacity just put my system into a complete fit.
It's erroring all over the place. God, why is it so loud? I didn't touch this system since my last stream. I haven't touched anything.
Which led to me having to shut down again, and then I ended up reducing.
I haven't touched anything.
Which led to me having to shut down again, and then
Omga streamer's worst nightmare.
Oh yeah. Tech issues are always the worst
Opening a
concern.
program and everything breaking.
Yeah. Like it is. I can't count the number of times like I have seen it happen to other people, and it's like happened to myself a couple times where it's like before stream, double, triple checks literally everything. Open stream up, and everything just stops working properly. Like it just stuff goes absolutely wonky, and you have no idea why.
I panic check everything. Hey Mimus.
Yeah, Reckless, that is literally it. Like, if you don't stream, tech's fine.
Bruh.
If you do stream, all the problems. Like, it's just, it seems to be like some sort of cruel universal rule.
That's how it always feels, lol.
Like, that is, like, yeah, like, that is the feeling. Like,
The moment the go live button is hit, something breaks.
Yep, every time, without fail. Like, there's always at
Yup.
least one thing.
then I ended up
Like
reducing my memory clock.
You just can't get away from it.
Again, because I was running a custom profile that I had made that was solid and working, and it didn't meet the Expo stuff. And you know, on especially X3D CPUs, if you're not running the Expo settings, you are leaving a ton of performance on the table, depending on your resolution. Anyway, upon restarting it, playing, and everything was fine until my system sound started crackling and literally going out. And when I say going out, only the game audio went out.
Oh, wait, I actually got a kind
I lost all the game sounds. What happened? How did I lose all the game sounds?
I don't know what you're doing to your AMD build, but my AMD build is still working.
And I basically was like, guys, I'm being AMD'd right now. And by AMD'd, really ASUS'd. Enough is enough. I don't have any confidence in this brand. I don't have any confidence in ASUS whatsoever. I think they make a beautiful product. I think the hardware design is absolutely gorgeous. Even their box presentation, if they would put half the effort into making a quality product in terms of its software support that they do in their hardware, then I wouldn't feel like I have to literally fire one of our sponsors. Now, fortunately, I don't have to refund any money, because at the start of this year, they put us through such hassle on even trying to get contracts figured out and agreed upon that we are in May and we still hadn't finalized 2023 yet, and every
What? I got to run it back.
I don't have to refund any money, because at the start of this year, they put us through such hassle on even trying to get contracts figured out and agreed upon that we are in May and we still hadn't finalized 2023 yet, and every brand we're working with had already been finalized by January.
Bruh. Five months.
Wow. Just wow. 5 months, and they still hadn't done like one of possibly the most important things for like brand dealing. Like, wow.
The standard for a contract is to have it fully written up and ready to be signed by end of January.
Yeah, like that's basically the like standard deadline, yeah, where it's just like anything after that.
For year-long contracts.
That is to not have that properly done by end of
This
January.
is dumbfounded.
Let alone even end of February, like if something like came up that was causing problems, like the fact that it wasn't even done by then, like uh, that is.
It's May and it wasn't done.
Yeah, like that's enough red flags to give a bull a stroke. Like that is,
Lol.
wow.
I'm turning that into audio.
You know what? That's fair. I can't blame you on that one. But,
We start the year prior. So we started these discussions in 2022. We are in May, and we still have not been able to solidify anything. So it was very easy to say, Asus, it's been real, but we're done. I will not. I have a couple. I don't think I have any builds right now. No, I don't have any builds right now that are in the works that were involving any Asus product. Yeah, the Mega Man X build, or I don't know if it's gonna be Mega Man X, but Mega Man build. That's MSI. My personal rig at home that I'm having problems with, I've already talked about potentially going back to Intel. Not necessarily for AMD's fault, but just I was in this position where I don't know if a lot of what I'm experiencing is it AMD or is it Asus, but it really is starting to lean that it's Asus. Because guess what? I have a Taichi X670E motherboard from ASRock sitting on my test bed, and it has been solid as a ASRock, yes, pun intended, since the moment we used it. And that goes all the way back to our 7950X non-3D review when the 7000 series first launched last year. It has been rock solid. The only reason I didn't use it in my personal build, and I've already said this, is the aesthetics of the Taichi don't match what I was going for with my Nebula 2 build with the purple and blue. I needed an all black board for that to work, and that's like brass accents on there. The point is, when you can say that ASRock is more stable and reliable than Asus, I think that's self-explanatory. Do you know what's happened here? ASRock used to be the avoid the brand at all costs brand, and they didn't like that. They made honest efforts of improving their image and improving their stability and their quality and their build quality. Asus, on the other hand, has become so complacent by being a money printing factory through their ROG branding bullshit stuff that they just rake in the money, because by the time you figure out your board is actual garbage, it's too late. And they probably voided your warranty by you doing something that you didn't even notice, which could potentially even be updating your BIOS to fix a problem where it could destroy your CPU. But Asus wants to wash its hands of any sort of liability. So that's why we are washing our hands of any sort of Asus, I guess technically with the exception of his Strix card.
The sensors have been on point.
Because, yeah, it's unfortunate. The graphics card side has been really solid. The problem is they're all still attached to the same corporate entity that is actual garbage. All right, guys, I just wanted to put this
very well done
out there and let you guys know. You guys have been hitting me up and left and right. Have you seen Steve's video? Have you seen? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I cannot boycott every brand someone has a problem with. I would literally have to sit in the corner with my lights off and never talk or move or touch or anything, because guess what? There's not a brand on the planet that doesn't have problems. We don't grade brands on their problem.
Hey, it's the resident tech guy in my server. Jacob, what do you think about MSI versus Gigabyte versus ASRock? I know you know a decent bit more than I do.
we grade brands on how they handle those problems. I have stood by far too long and given ASUS the benefit of the doubt. And it was really the backwards capacity issue that had me starting to waver in my confidence in ASUS, especially the emails that took place afterward. Because it was really a whole lot of like, we can't tell you any of the details. If you want the details, you have to go through the Freedom of Information Act to get those, but we can tell you that we've done stuff. The emails I got regarding my motherboard problem on the
Bro, they hit him with the Freedom of Information Act.
They really, like, ASUS, like, really has basically, like, tried to tank themselves by doing this kind of stuff. Like,
Thank you for your input, Jacob.
Yeah, that is good to know from competent PC folk. Because I know I'm certainly not. I try to be, but I know I'm not. But yeah, yeah, like that makes sense. Yeah, for server stuff, you wouldn't really need anything fancy.
Okay, that is good to know. Also, I know it also depends on what you want on a board overall, lol.
7950X3D that did in fact turn out to be a 100% a motherboard problem, because after replacing that board, everything has been fine with the exception of the memory stuff I've been dealing with. The amount of condescending, well, have you tried this kind of email that was in there was like, you know what? ASUS is so high on their own horse that they can't even see the ground anymore. And the thing is, this is an open letter to ASUS at this point.
Reckless, I swear I am a streamer.
Like, you know, just maybe.
We have seen really problem. There's not a brand on the planet that doesn't have problems. We don't grade brands on their problems. We grade brands on how they handle those problems. I have stood by far too long and given ASUS the benefit of the doubt. And it was really the backwards capacity issue that had me starting to waver in my confidence in ASUS, especially the emails that took place afterward. Because it was really a whole lot of like, we can't tell you any of the details. If you want the details, you have to go through the Freedom of Information Act to get those, but we can tell you that we've done stuff. The emails I got regarding my motherboard problem on the 7950X3D that did in fact turn out to be a 100% a motherboard problem, because after replacing that board, everything has been fine with the exception of the memory stuff I've been dealing with. The amount of condescending, well, have you tried this kind of email that was in there was like,
Imagine getting the "turn it off and back on again" email from tech support.
Oh man, like I have a lot of patience for a lot of things. I've gained that over the years, but that, like, like getting that from essentially tech support of a company, especially one that you have been having a lot of recent problems with, it really would just feel like a slap to the face. Like whether it's intentional or not, like it would feel like a just what are you gonna do about it? You know, like that's the kind of attitude like it would kind of give off. Like that is it's also not great. That is just rough. I do not envy what this man had to go through recently with Asus, like trying to deal with all that, like that.
I know they want to go over basic stuff because that's how it works. There is a structure you follow to rule things out because not everyone is tech literate.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like there is definitely like a certain protocol like type thing of like, hey, like have you done this? Have you done that? Etc. But like it's also one of those things where it's like I have had like similar stuff happen where it's like where I've basically like told like people like, hey, I these are the things that I've done to try and fix it. So clearly, like it's not one of these things. It's got to be something else, and they will still tell you, like, no, try
But
this.
when
And it's like, bro,
someone
I've already
tech
tried that.
literate shows up, gives you the problem and you hit them with turn it off and on again, it's like, gear no help. It's not that my memory is having a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and again, like it's one of those things. But like if you've explained like what you have done and haven't done, you know, and then they try and hit you with a solution that you've already tried, despite the fact that you've just told them as much. Like oh boy, it is. It's not great. Because it really does at that point feel like why did I even bother like contacting you people?
You'd think they didn't want to send someone like him to tier 1 techs though.
Yeah, I would imagine like if they know who's contacting them, like I would imagine they would probably want to be like, okay, this guy's probably not going to get any help from like our basic tier like tech and stuff. Like it's got to be somebody that really, really knows their like stuff if they're gonna like work out a problem with like somebody that like like does this kind of thing. But
Again, I sus is like not giving him like even a little bit of special accommodation.
yeah, no, like they're yeah, yeah, that too. Like they're not really giving him like any kind of like accommodation or anything, which is something you would think they would do for somebody like this. Like not because of like what he does for a living specifically, but like also
He's probably
kind of
making
for that
them
same
more
reason.
money than they spend paying his contract.
Oh, definitely. Like anytime a big tech company or anything like that like does sponsored streams or like they sign a contract with like somebody like this, like they make money hand over fist, like compared to what like the actual person in the contract is making in most cases. But like it's still a good deal for both parties involved. Like in this case, though, like yeah, yeah, like my current one,
Mine will not have won either.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be finding, something else. Like even if, like people like were like, oh look at the specs on this, I'd be like, yeah, no, it's Asus. Like I'm not touching it. Like at this point, like after learning about like this stuff, because wow.
They will need to rebuild their image a lot.
Oh yeah. Like it's gonna take a while for them to like rebuild their reputation, and that's if they even manage to rebuild it. Like if we're being honest, because it's gonna be really hard for people to trust anything that they're actually doing. Like after this, like is it'll be like is this just a public image thing, or like are they actually trying? And a lot of people aren't going to risk their PCs and all of their parts, especially with as expensive as that can get, on a maybe, you know.
I'm not dropping 1K on a board that has a fire problem.
You know what?
Yeah.
Asus is so high on their own horse that they can't even see the
I
ground
definitely
anymore. And
won't
the thing
be
is,
getting any other stuff after this. Like, regardless of what the product is, if it has Asus slapped on it, I definitely won't be touching it because it's just not. I just can't trust it to be safe.
ASUS makes ROG stuff. Republic of Gamers stuff. My monitors are Asus too.
I am thankfully currently, like, as far as like my PC stuff goes, I'm currently Asus free. So like I'm clear, but I'll definitely be staying clear of them in the future.
But it is just their motherboards that are having problems.
Yeah.
Their new Gen AMD motherboards.
Yeah.
Mine are expensive to replace too. And my current motherboard doesn't have the problem. So no need to spend money to replace a perfectly fine motherboard.
this is an open letter to Asus at this point. We have seen
definitely
bigger brands than you fail.
It definitely
because
like
of
the price adds up. Like once you start getting like multiple of them and stuff like that.
arrogance that exists at that level. So I suggest you start climbing down the ladder now so you have a softer landing, because you're heading down the wrong path. That's all I had to say, guys. You guys expect us to represent and stand up for you guys, and that's what we're doing. Until Asus has shown us that there's brand confidence that's restored, and it starts with guaranteeing anyone that has a motherboard problem using any piece of software they've ever put out or BIOS on their website ever, you gotta at least start there. The problem, as Steve has identified, they can put that BIOS out, have it brick motherboards, and then yank it off the site at any time that they want and say, well, you shouldn't have used it. You shouldn't have put it out there, and you should have at least half-assed effort into any of this right now. And you don't. And that's why you are officially fired from this channel. But you don't care.
So yeah. Tech YouTube is on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It definitely seems like it. Like, that is definitely very, very good information. But yeah, like, it's... Yeah. I mean, it feels like one ecosphere of the, like, of YouTube, like, burns, like, every so often. And it's just tech.
Now it's always 2 at a time.
Wow, fish. Really, really going for the throat there on the tech YouTubers.
Damn fish.
Went straight for the kill.
You know what that means? Fish!
True.
It was kinda funny. I'll give you that.
That was good. It was good.
Exclamation mark so at the Underdog Observer.
So, but yeah, like, I think,
Bruh.
like, yeah, yeah, I will safely preface this for all of you that I don't necessarily stream super often because, you know, mountain man in the middle of nowhere, usually busy. But when I do, I try and keep things like kind of relaxed, like on that front.
Except when I drag him along for podcast time.
Yes, it's entirely you know, I get drafted every Sunday. Yes, Mimas. Yeah, like if someone has to. They're like, you know, yeah, exactly. You know how it is. They're like giant rats. You know, like if you don't show them their place once in a while, they get a little out of hand. Again, like I said, I don't stream super often. Haven't streamed in a little while now, but I've been busy. I'm gonna try and stream again soon. But like that, like my channel stuff aside, which appreciate it. Like my channel stuff aside, like today we did cover like an interesting number of topics, from like game stuff to everything, and then like capping it off with this tech stuff tonight. Like it was one nice kind of learning about what Asus is doing in the background, because I'll admit I probably wouldn't have otherwise, because I just don't pay attention to that kind of stuff too
And
often.
I went on a picnic today.
Yeah, picnic times are always great. That is good stuff.
I touched grass.
Tundra gang, we've done it. We've witnessed it. The grass has been touched.
Bruh.
But yeah, like the tech stuff is nice, because like it is, I feel like one, like it actually interesting, like a really good like conversational thing, and two, it is just nice information to know. But yeah, like it moral of the story, be careful where you get your PC parts if you weren't already doing that beforehand, which I sincerely hope you were. Because PC stuff is way too expensive anymore to be taking chances.
Yes, always research where you get parts from.
Like I feel like that is like a good like capstone summary.
And
of,
double
like,
and triple check compatibility.
Oh yeah, definitely do that. It is not a good feeling getting a PC part and then finding out, oh, it just doesn't work. Yeah.
Especially with 4 and 5 on the market.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It can be confusing.
Yeah, like, and especially like if you don't do that kind of thing like very often. Like I learned what I needed to specifically to build
Memes
what I
don't
needed, and,
tell
like,
people to
outside of
download more RAM.
like outside of that, I don't know much. But yeah, like that there are some things where it's just like you really want to like brush up on it at the very least. But as always, it's always been fun. I always enjoy like dropping in here on Sundays to do this because we always end up talking about fun stuff and like interesting things. And
Hey Reckless, if you want, I can help you figure out what you have in it.
Yeah. And then of course, if you know, those of you here, if you haven't already, hit the funny button down there and follow the burb, because you know she makes good content and she's a great person.
Also,
she deserves it.
Thank you for coming to stream. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm going to take Software's funny child harness off.
Yeah, I'm getting released back onto the mountain now.
So he may like go back to his bone pile.
Hey, someone has to make it look nice.
Till next week.
Indeed. Till next time.
I will see you all again tomorrow night. Have a great day/night. Bye bye.